Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley, along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Big Insiders. It is power ranking. So we have got, look, if there's one thing that we always know, from one week to the next, the power rankings in the Big 12 conference are going to be absolutely different. This week was no different. A lot of changes, man. Some teams went up, some teams went down, and some big moves both ways. So we'll discuss all that and more. We appreciate everybody being in here. Before we even get started, remember, everybody, to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section, and as always, hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. Fitz, first off, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm back in Kansas. My allergies are kicking up. I went to a country that rains all the time, and there's growth and just beautiful plants. No allergies in Ireland. I grew up here, and I have so many allergies right now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's craziness, man. Look, before we get started with the power rankings, there was one game that we couldn't cover yesterday in our weekend recap because the game happened yesterday, last evening. TCU smacks around North Carolina, all the hoopla around Bill Belichick. It was, first of all, I thought it was a joke that TCU was a 3-point favorite at UNC. Nobody really, I guess, understood that TCU brought back a lot. I know they lost 2 receivers, but they brought back a lot, including their quarterback, coordinators. I mean, they kept a lot of things intact. They upgraded where they needed to upgrade, and they won 9 football games last year, and they're a better team, it appears. I don't know how good North Carolina is, but the bottom line is they took control early. North Carolina started off fast, which you knew they would. All that emotion. You know, they had Michael Jordan was at the game. Lawrence Taylor was at the game. Roy Williams was at the game. After the first 5 minutes, none of that meant anything, and TCU smacked them around. They were up 41-7 at one point. TCU looked good. Josh Hoover. One thing that the TCU did that we talked about with our man Jeremy Clark, who covers 24/7, they couldn't run the ball last year. They ran for 258 yards in this game. So now, again, maybe North Carolina's not very good. I don't know. But even still, even against bad teams last year, TCU couldn't run the football. They did in week 1. I like where they stand. They made a statement, in my opinion.
It was impressive. I don't care. Maybe North Carolina is awful.
Yeah.
But they still went and took care of business on the road in what was probably a pretty jacked up environment because you got a legend on the sideline.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the legend doesn't have his legend next to him playing quarterback.
Mm-mm.
And I'm now wondering, was it all Tom Brady? Because he wasn't successful before Tom Brady. He hasn't been successful post Tom Brady. Now he's gone to college and he got schooled. He got absolutely schooled by the TCU staff.
Yeah, I mean, TCU is a better football team from top to bottom. They got out coached. Maybe it'll take a while for Belichick to get all the people in there, whatever the case may be. TCU didn't care. They smacked them around. It's a great start for the Horned Frogs. So
I did find it interesting that TCU opened the Deion Sanders era.
Mm-hmm.
Now open the Bill Belichick era. You're only permitted to make a huge splash hire like this, NFL related, if you play TCU in your first game. TCU learned their lesson from the Colorado game, though.
Yeah, they did. So good for them. It seems like I mean, again, it's week 1. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but all we can judge people by is the only games that they've played. They've only played one. They look like they may be, and they were in that top 7 fits of teams that could win the Big 12 this year. They were in that mix anyway. So this is just kind of reaffirms that. But let's get to these power rankings, people. First off, at number 16, UCF. It was a struggle to win against Jacksonville State. It didn't look great. They needed a late touchdown and a even later interception to seal that win. Long way to go for Scott Frost, but they did win the game.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. They did win the game, so you got to give them some credit there, but it's going to be a minute before UCF is really good, Fitz.
Agreed. I didn't get a chance to watch any of this game, and I'm kind of glad.
Yeah, it was the rain delays. It was a slop out there. Just wasn't a good football game. At number 15, Kansas State University. Kansas State played a stinker, and quite frankly, they stink right now. And until they can get some things figured out on both sides of the football, show a little fire, because that's the thing that was lacking. No passion, no fight, nothing. Just nothing. Bad coaching, all of it. They deserve to be at 15 Fitz. That was a pathetic performance on Saturday.
Here's how bad K-State was on Saturday. I bet you no K-Staters are mad about this spot.
Nope.
But none. I mean, you look at the teams above them, and you ask yourself, if they played this Saturday, who would win?
Correct.
They're not picking K-State.
Nope.
They're so down, they may not pick K-State to beat UCF. And for good reason. K-State was a bad football team that had enough offense to beat a much better prepared FCS opponent, one from the Missouri Valley, picked for the middle of that conference, which is still pretty good, but this shouldn't have happened.
Nope.
And they should have lost. I feel badly for North Dakota because they did everything but win the final score.
Absolutely. So they deserve it. This is where they're at.
Yep.
Prove everybody wrong or don't. Either one. It's your choice, K-State. At number 14, Oklahoma State. Man, I feel bad. Again, 2 drives right out of the gate. The offense is clicking, and then their quarterback goes down. And look, this is going to be a year injury, Fitz. They say 6 to 8 weeks, but let's just call it what it is. If your quarterback has been playing for 6 to 8 weeks and you have a guy coming off foot surgery, I'm going to guess, again, depending on where you are in the season, you're not putting that guy back in the game. I'm guessing this is going to be a medical red shirt. I don't know, Hoss Haney's medical red shirt history, or if he has one, whatever the case. Seems like anybody can get one now because you can play till you're 30. Having said all of that, they won the game. It was a new start for Oklahoma State. New staff, new players. It was basically like a brand new football program, other than the head coach was still there. So 27-7, I'll give it to them over UT Martin.
They did it. They had a worst case scenario for a team trying to rebuild and feeling good about their quarterback position to lose him. And I agree with you. I think it's a broken foot. He ain't coming back.
No.
Why? Unless, but here's the thing. Let's say whoever fills in does a really good job. Again, to your point, why do you bring him back?
Correct.
Let's say whoever fills in does a lousy job and the season is a wreck. I guess if you're Gundy, you bring him back to show that you can win with him because you're probably going to get fired in a lousy season. But most coaches would say, well, he ain't going to make that big a difference to risk his injury again. Let's save it for next year.
Correct.
Maybe the Gundy calculation is different.
Correct. And number 13, I've got Colorado. Look, Colorado didn't look good. The one good thing I will say, before I say they didn't look good offensively, they did run the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
They did do that. They showed a little more physicality on the offensive line. Didn't give up a bunch of sacks, which we've seen the last 2 years. Ran the ball pretty effectively. But, all of that gets negated from a team that just lines up and runs for 320 yards right down your throat, and you can't do anything to stop it. Just, again, no physicality on the defensive side of the football. Just, I'm sorry. I know Georgia Tech's a good team. A lot of people expect them to be in the ACC championship game, or at least have an opportunity to be there. So they didn't play a scrub, but I don't care. You shouldn't allow 320 yards rushing on your home field, Fitz. I don't care. They're at 13. Be better. That's all I'm going to say. Be better, Fitz.
Go ahead and say it better myself. I don't understand how we're in year 3 of the Coach Brien experience, and they haven't solved this basic football problem of stopping the run. And it's not like some complex nuclear science. If
Right.
you're a football coach, you figure out how to stop the run,
Yep.
or you're going to lose a lot of games, and that's where
Absolutely.
they're at.
Absolutely. And the play calling wasn't great either. 3 turnovers the first 3 drives, and you can only get 7 points. That's a problem. That's a problem. And I mean, the quarterback didn't have a great game. It's week 1, so let's not panic. But this is a power rankings. This is where they are right now.
We get to panic at the power rankings.
At number 12, we got Cincinnati. They I mean, look, Cincinnati, to me, I think Cincinnati gave the game away. They hung around. Right. They did enough other than passing. I've never seen a team at this level, Fitz, even with, how they take away sack yards from rushing yards, whatever. They had 34 passing yards going into the final drive of this football game. I've never seen anything like that before. And they threw it. They were trying to throw the ball some. It's not like they only threw the ball like 6 times. No, they were trying to throw it, just couldn't complete a pass. And then at the end, you're in field goal range, and you take a horrible chance into double coverage when you didn't have to do that. It's a problem. But this is where they are. Look, they look better than what I thought, and they hung around. But sometimes you got to finish. You got to finish it.
I agree with everything you said. I thought they looked better than I expected, and it still wasn't great.
No.
And they almost beat Nebraska. What's that say about that? I mean, I don't know where Nebraska was picked in the Big Ten, but I guarantee you it wasn't towards the bottom like Cincinnati was in the Big 12.
Correct.
And when I say they looked better based on that measurement. Maybe they're not the 15th best team or whatever you had them at. Maybe they're the 12th. Right. I don't know what to say, Cincinnati. If that's what you're going to get out of your quarterback play, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. But even if you're better, you can't have a quarterback making bad decisions in clutch time and not able to complete passes.
It's a veteran quarterback too, Fitz. This is not some freshman out there. This is a veteran quarterback that made that mistake in that.
Took a lot of work to get that bad.
Yeah, and that's not good. So number 11, we got Arizona. A lot of people made a big deal. Now, don't get me wrong. They smacked around Hawaii. But I think people are trying to act like Hawaii's better than what they were because they beat Stanford. Stanford may not win a game this year, people. Stanford is awful. They are absolutely awful. And Hawaii beat them, and Arizona stomped Hawaii. The whole I beat you, you beat them, yada, yada, yada. But I thought it was a good look. Look, it could have been worse. They did what they were supposed to do. And maybe this is the turnaround. Maybe this is a tipping point. Maybe Arizona's going to be a better football team, Fitz. I don't know, but I got them at 11 this week. Good for them.
Yeah. Beating Hawaii didn't prove anything to me. I mean, I don't know. I agreed. Stanford's a train wreck.
Yeah.
Why the ACC took them, and I have no idea, but that's a mess that isn't going to get solved. I mean, we just should come to the realization that Stanford is no longer going to be a power level football program because they don't want to be.
Nope.
Whatever's going on, they've decided this is good enough, and that they're going to end up without a conference eventually.
Yep, absolutely. So those are the first 6. Do we have a graphic for the first 6, Fitz?
Here we go. Boom.
There it is. And this is basically from what it was a week ago to what it is today, ladies and gentlemen. So you see, things have moved. Things have changed. And that's the one constant with power rankings, whatever. The Big 12 things are just going to move all over the place. And they absolutely did. I mean, Oklahoma State stayed the same, and UCF stayed the same. Cincinnati stayed the same. But you see some movement from teams up and down. You see K-State's in there. So a lot of movement in this Big 12 in the first week, Fitz.
K-State didn't take the elevator down. The elevator fell to the basement. Man.
Yeah, that was a bad performance, man. At number 10, I have got Baylor. Look, maybe Auburn's really, really good. I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I just think that Baylor just wasn't a very physical football team, man. And that's kind of been their thing, just not a ton of physicality. They, again, another team that allowed a team to come into your building and run for over 300 yards against you. I said, hey, make Jackson Arnold beat you. Don't let him run the football. Well, they did let him run the football, and Jackson Arnold did beat them, but he didn't beat them throwing the football, Fitz. He beat them by running all over the place against Baylor, and it wasn't just him. Again, they ran for over 300 yards. You cannot allow team to come into your building, control the game, and run it right down your throat with very little resistance. Now, some will say, well, why didn't you put Baylor up with Colorado? Well, because Baylor did throw for over 400 yards. They put up some semblance of offense where Colorado really didn't. So that would be where the difference was. But I don't know. I was real disappointed in Baylor.
Yeah, when your head coach is a kind of well-known defensive coordinator,
yeah,
that stings. I mean,
He's
I
calling
can
the plays
imagine.
too, Fitz.
What's that?
He's calling the defensive plays too.
Yeah, that's not good at all. I'm
Yep.
sure he got angry and went to his office to read some Shakespeare or something. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Sure what angry looks for him. I mean, he's just such a calm person, but got to be better. Got to be better. This is so Big 12. K-State and Baylor, they're going to be really good. We'll see.
Ugly. Number 9, looky here, West Virginia. West Virginia looked good. Now, again, they didn't play anybody. I totally understand, but I always say this, Fitz, and I'll continue to say it forever. Just because you're playing somebody bad doesn't mean you have to look bad, Kansas State Wildcats. West Virginia didn't play anybody that was very good, and they stomped them into the ground, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. They ran for almost 400 yards. Rich Rod, you know how he is. We're going to run this play. If you can't stop it, we're going to run it again. We're going to run it again, and we're going to run it again until you stop it. Look, good start for West Virginia, man. Defense came out and played well. This is deserving. Things can change, but this is where we are. West Virginia looked good, Fitz. They did.
They did. I mean, they've got their magic back in some ways with Rich Rod. We'll see if it's sustained, but early in these rankings, you're measured primarily against your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And that exceeded expectations. It really did.
Yeah. And that's the thing with West Virginia. Me, you, a lot of people didn't see a lot, but here's where we are after week 1 again. You can only be judged on what we've seen, and this is what we've seen so far. Number 8 is Houston. Look, Houston, again, 27-0. You didn't expect them to give up any points to an FCS team. You know Willie Fritz's defense is going to be ultra tough, ultra fast, competitive, and they were. But it was just, if you saw any of the game, if anybody saw any of the game, Houston was about as vanilla as you could possibly get. But this is what it looks like when you have a good defense and you just come out in vanilla. 27-0, workmanlike effort. A lot of guys got onto the football field because they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Houston at 8. I don't know that we know a whole lot about them yet, but they're at 8.
I think that's fitting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just kind of in the middle. I think they could be good. They could be the surprise team because of coaching, but then again, maybe they're going to start sliding, but we'll see. Like I said, you're measured against your expectations, and those expectations were pretty low.
Correct. Absolutely. Next up at number 7, we got KU. Look, KU, I don't even know if you would say they look better this week because the opponent was much worse than the first week. They played Fresno State week 0, and then in week 1 they played Wagner. The numbers look better, but the opponent wasn't nearly up to snuff. We'll learn a lot more about Missouri this week, but this is where they are. Again, came out, smacked around an opponent that you're supposed to smack around.
Absolutely. This time of year is about taking care of business.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing opponents you should whoop up on, take care of business.
Yes.
And, you can look bad and win, but the Big B power rankings are going to punish you.
Yep. And that's the thing about KU is I think KU looked better week 1 than they did this past week. Even though the offensive numbers looked better this week, the opponent wasn't the same.
No.
So I thought they looked better, I guess, technically in week 0 than they did this past week. So
I thought it was interesting to play back-to-back Friday night games.
Yeah.
At home with their new stadium. I thought that was odd, but again, they probably wanted that extra day of preparation because they got a big one coming up this weekend.
They do, man.
Forever the border war to me. This is as heated as a rivalry as there's out there. You think KUK State has the heat to it? Missouri and Kansas absolutely despise each other.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fun seeing it renewed.
It's going to be something special, in my opinion. At number 6, TCU. Could be higher after what we saw, that destruction last night. Could be higher, but I just have the other teams rated a little bit higher. Again, I'm not sure how good North Carolina is, but some of that had to do, I think, not some, a lot of it had to do with what TCU did and made them look like. TCU is a good football team. Again, they were in the mix of the 7 teams that I can think that have an opportunity to win the Big 12 conference. TCU was one of those, and they went out and proved a point last night. But I like them at 6 for right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could make the argument they belong higher. That was an impressive win, but I think it's probably because you and I didn't think North Carolina would be worth a crap.
Correct.
A lot of people out there had them winning the Super Bowl, and I'm like, they're a college football team. That he can't win the Super Bowl. And I'm talking about Skip Bayless, of course. Maybe the dimmest bulb in the variety pack. But he gets paid a lot of money to be dumb. They're gonna, if they replicate this, they're gonna be at the top of this pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to number 5, I've got BYU. Look, BYU made a jump. And BYU, look, they pasted an opponent they were supposed to, but they were impressive in doing so, Fitz. Passing's got to get a little bit better. But, I mean, he threw for 3 touchdowns. I know they weren't 75-yard touchdown passes or anything like that, but it is what it is. They look good. That defense looked crazy good. The physicality, but don't really know a ton because the opponent just wasn't up to snuff. But anytime you beat somebody by the margin that they did, you got a good football team. I like BYU at 5.
Speaking of series we call wars, the Holy War could be really stinking interesting this year.
Yes.
These might be 2 really good teams. We're going to find out more about BYU. The concern was quarterback, and that got a passing grade. So if that continues to progress, here we go. Here we go.
Absolutely. So let's bring up the next one, the next graphic here for those 6. A couple of changes. Colorado, Kansas, BYU. I mean, everybody moved except TCU. TCU stayed at 6. The TCU fans probably going to be upset by that. They're probably going to be upset by that, but I'm sorry. I just thought other teams, BYU especially, I just thought they were a little bit more impressive. That's all. That's all. Nothing personal.
Yeah, they're going to try to cancel you.
Yeah.
They're gonna dig up stuff in your past.
It's all right. I got tons of skeletons. They'll find a lot. Don't get me wrong. They'll find a lot, but that's all right. I'll make it through. I will make it through. At number 4, I've got the Utah Utes. Look, I thought Utah got disrespected by the point spread against UCLA. I'm like, UCLA is not any good. Somehow people did. I think it was easy money. And Utah fans, give them credit, Fitz. They called it. They're like, this is easy money. 6 points, basically a Los Angeles home game. Because if you watch that game, there were clearly more fans, Utah fans at that game than UCLA fans, which I said going in there was going to be. There was. And they beat the brakes off of UCLA just like now, I didn't know they were going to put up this kind of crazy offense, but they did. Good for them. They made the changes. The offensive coordinator, quarterback, they ran it. They threw it. I think the quarterback's got to take a little bit less hits and maybe, get down a little bit more. Can't take those kind of hits. But other than that, it's a really good game. The defense, again, lights out. Utah's good, Fitz. They're good.
They are. They were good. And I don't know that UCLA is worth a crap, but I think, again, you're measured against your expectations, and this was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right about the quarterback. Young man, you got a whole season to play.
Yeah.
And nobody knows better than Utah fans what happens when you lose your frontline quarterback.
Correct.
Wheels can fall off.
Correct.
You're the wheels, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of bounds. Get down.
Yeah. Got to take a little less hits. Utah fans, I'm sure, were like, oh, just shuddering. I'm like, come on, my man. Long season. So, at number 3, Arizona State. Look, I thought they were good. I thought they were fine. I just didn't think they were great this week, Fitz. I didn't think they were great. So I moved them down from 1 to 3. But it is what it is. Again, it is a victory over Northern Arizona. First game of the year. Like I said, I thought they were fine. That's it. Just fine.
I know what they're going to say. Big B, you're wrong. You totally forked up. Went a long ways for that one. I'd like to pat myself in the back now. Yeah, it's early. I'm fine with the power rankings, and they're still a really good team. Really good team.
Yeah, they're a good football team. It was just week 1, getting the kinks out. Number 2, I don't know. Maybe they're number 1, but I have them at number 2 right now is Iowa State. I think Iowa State was even more impressive this week than they were week 1 against Kansas State. I say that they basically stymied what Kansas State was trying to do, especially running the football the second half. Again, I know they're not playing anybody South Dakota, but South Dakota is actually a good FCS team. They're a good one that can compete. Iowa State said, no, you can't. So I think this Iowa State team, again, I think people maybe underestimated them. I think they're a lot better than what myself and a lot of people thought, Fitz, and 2 seems right to me.
I agree. And here's why I agree. They're not number 1. How valuable was that win over Kansas State?
Correct.
I mean, if they were as bad as they were last Saturday in Dublin, then you should have won by a lot more.
Right.
So, Farmageddon's dragging you down right now, which isn't how it's supposed to work. But yeah, I think Iowa State's pretty good though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're a good football team. Got a big one again this week too, against Iowa. So we'll find out some stuff there. And then at number 1, Texas Tech. Now, some people are going to say, come on, Big B, their quarterback got hurt. He's going to be out. We don't know that he's necessarily going to be out. I would hold him out. I would hold him out probably a couple weeks, but we'll see. Hyperextended knee from Baron Morton. MRI came back clean, but, hurt quarterback. But that was pretty impressive. I know there was a ton of delays, but Texas Tech, if you caught any of it, the talent is there, Fitz. Everybody talks about they bought a roster. They bought a team. Well, that's what everybody is capable of doing or is able to do. Maybe not capable of doing, but that's what they're able to do. They went out and bought a roster. Good for them. They bought talent. Good for them. Now, they got to sustain it, and they got to sustain it against real competition. But from what I just looked at and saw, yeah, Texas Tech's got a good football team, Fitz.
I agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying a roster in these days.
No.
SEC's been doing it for years when it wasn't permitted.
Correct.
and they feel like they're the only ones entitled to doing that.
Yep.
So I'm all for Texas Tech having a successful season because it changes the narrative quite a bit.
Absolutely. But there it is. There's the power rankings, ladies and gentlemen. From 1 to 16, had some movement at the top, had some movement basically everywhere. And just so you are familiar, every single week, I mean, it's power rankings. Most people know it, but the Big 12 is just crazy. It's up and down. Team looks fantastic one week and then looks horrific the very next week, and we got to drop them down. So, and vice versa. Team looks horrible one week and then goes and beats the best team in the conference, and you got them, and looks great in doing so. You got to move them up. So I'm super excited. We're off to a good start as far as the power rankings and the Big 12. I don't know if the Big 12 is necessarily off to a good start. That was tough watching Baylor and Colorado get physically manhandled. That was tough. But we saw some other teams look good. So the bag's still out there. Utah, again, I know UCLA is not good, but Utah's the one for me, Fitz, that did some damage against a Power 5 opponent. I know UCLA is not great, but a lot of people saw that football game and Utah looked really good. So
I'm all in on TCU right now. They went
did.
into a
That's
packed
another one.
stadium and didn't listen to the narratives of the national media and just whoop some ass.
They did. So not UCLA, Utah, TCU, kind of held the banner for the conference this week. So maybe it wasn't a total loss.
No,
wasn't a total loss. So appreciate everybody, man. We are off and running this week again with Big 12 Insiders. We'll have a lot more for you guys for the remainder of the week. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, get in this comments section, and always click that notification bell so you know when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you again soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.